Peace, peace, peace. Welcome to my channel. My name is Drew. Today I just got back from work. I've been wanting to talk about food. And specifically, how are you eating? Now that seemed like a stupid question. Of course, I'm eating with my mouth. But what are you eating? Well, you're eating food for your food body, right? Your body made of food, right? Well, there's other kinds of energies that your body needs and that your body's interacting with while you're eating. So I'm gonna just run down a quick little topic of food. So, first things first, basic diet. So we all got different kinds of body types, right? Different kinds of people need different kinds of food, got different kinds of metabolisms, whatever and whatnot. But the very basics that you need to know is stop eating all that processed shit. You don't need none of that shit. Heavily processed foods. What I say is, if I can't read the fucking word, I probably shouldn't eat it. It's just common sense. Like, don't eat poison. Don't eat something that you can get at the hardware store. When you look at the food that you're buying, look at what it's made with, and you want to find things with single ingredients, right? Things with a small amount of ingredients. The more ingredients there are, the more processing the food's been through. And it's basically telling you, hey, there's actually nothing in this that is going to serve your body. So yeah, look for single ingredient foods. If you can cook your own food, that's amazing. But yeah, you wanna know what you're eating. Even if it is some crazy extravagant word, you can look it up and it's like, okay, this is a thickener. I know a little bit about this. That's better than just eating ignorance. Sorry for my cat. All right, my second point is the frequency at which you eat, or the time of day that you're eating at, or how often you eat, right? So once again, everybody's body's different, and really you need to work with yourself and figure out what works for you. But we've been fed this idea, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. To have 3 meals a day with balanced, you guys know what I'm talking about. This is a program we've been given in the West, right? But really, you don't need 3 meals a day. And matter of fact, you probably shouldn't eat right when you get up either. Eating right away when you get up can cause food cravings throughout the day. Me personally, I don't like to eat right when I get up. That's not the first thing I like to do. Slam down a bunch of fucking eggs. Like, no, not for me. But like I said, you need to work with your body, figure out what works with you. But if you are eating late at night, and let's say you eat dinner, right? Big old dinner, belly stuff, and you just go right to bed, right? What's going to happen is when you're going to sleep, your body is going to still be digesting that food. So your body's going to be spending energy on digestion and converting this food into energy, rather than healing and resting and repairing itself as it should be at night. My own recommendation would be try to eat and finish eating before, like, if you go to bed at 10, before 6, right? 4 hours before you go to sleep. A lot of monks, like Shaolin monks, they'll eat 2 meals, but they won't eat after noon, right? But you also got to think of the workload that they're doing. They're meditating. They don't need a whole lot of energy, right? Sometimes I only need 1 meal a day. But if I know I have a lot of physical labor or a lot of things to do later in the day, I'll make sure that I get the food that I need for the day I have ahead of me. You also want to look at your eating habits, right? That's one thing that I work on is towards the end of the night, I have patterns where I just like to snack, right? But it's not serving me. And those foods don't actually give me anything for my body. I'm just feeding my subconscious behaviors and just kind of sitting in the background and enjoying the blissful sensations of Cheez-Its. So yeah, observe your eating patterns and do what works with you and your body. The third point that I wanted to talk about is what's actually happening while you're eating. And what do I mean by that? So regardless of your diet, regardless of what you're actually eating, do you eat alone or do you eat with people? There's a big difference between eating in solitude and eating in company. When you are eating in company, who are you surrounded with? Are you at a table with your family? Are you out at a bar? When you're eating with people, you have to be very careful of the conversations that you're having while you're eating. Emotions that you're feeling while you're eating, thoughts that you're thinking while you're eating, is all being ingested at the same time. When you're eating, you should be joyful. You should be laughing over dinner. You should be having great conversations and great connections with people. That way you're eating your positive energy. You're eating joy. You're eating laughter. When you're eating, you don't want to be having heavy emotions. You don't want to be eating your shame. You don't want to be eating your anger. If you're eating food and you have a thought of something extremely negative or awful, put your fork down. You take your negative thoughts, acknowledge them, disregard them, let them go their way, and then you want to think light, love, peace, and blow that onto your food, and then eat it. Are you sitting in front of the TV? Are you listening to music? What are you watching on the TV? Are you watching a gore film, a horror film, court cases, drama show, people screaming at each other? When you're listening to music, what kind of music are you listening to? Are you listening to music about violence, killing people, depression, cutting your fucking body open? Why are you eating that? Why are you consuming that in general? It's all consumption and pairing food with different energies that you're all consuming at one time. So next time you're eating, you have a meal to yourself, eat in silence. Focus on the food that you're eating. Look at your food and put your awareness into it. Put your attention into it and eat consciousness. Consume your awareness that way. When you're eating, don't be scrolling on your phone. Also, pray. When you're eating, pray over your food. You want to bless your food with your words, with your heart, with your mind. Align your heart and mind and speak. Speak light into your food. Speak consciousness into your food before you intake that meal. You can bless food. You can bless other people's food. Prayer is essentially intentionally putting thoughts, emotion, and energy just in general into your food before you consume it. What I'm talking about in this video is while you're consuming, be aware of the energy you're consuming. Once you make food a sacred thing, a sacred part of your life, you start to notice the subtle energies that you're consuming while you're eating. Like I said earlier, I'm still working on eating patterns of mine. But I hope in this video you learn some things to pay attention to, tips and advice. Ingredient list that long, put that shit back on the shelf. That shit is poison. Don't put that in your body. Single ingredient foods. You want to be able to know what you're eating. You want to eat awareness. You want to eat consciousness. You don't want to eat ignorance. Look at the time of the day you eating. If you're eating later in the day and you want to dream, you're not dreaming, that is why. Stop eating at the end of the day and you will dream more. If you don't have a lot going on, if you're meditating that day, have a light meal. And you'll notice it's much easier to get into that meditative state. If you got a day of construction ahead of you, a 16-hour shift, yeah, stock up. But that's pretty obvious advice. While you're eating, pay attention to the energies you're consuming. What's happening around you, the environment you're in. Are you in a positive environment? Are you with positive people discussing wonderful things? Positive conversations over dinner. Positive music playing while you're eating, if that's what you want to do. So yeah, hope y'all enjoyed this video. Something quick I wanted to get out there and just talk about this topic. So, hope y'all learned something. I'm gonna catch y'all later. Peace.